Hello, Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all things. I hope you're having fun, or I hope you're having a great time. You know, um, Busby is having a great time. Jay-Z may not be having a great time. But one of the things that we are able to take note of, what we're here to talk about today, is that not everything is done in the public for the truth of the matter, right? Sometimes it's done just to, in fact, have a narrative and to have a spin or to get your side out there before the other side, comes through. And that's what it looks like happened. Keep things covered here. That's what it looked like happened. Jay-Z's team was like, "Hey, media, we have a gift for you." And the media was like, "Oh, thanks. We wanted to make sense of this." And it is sensible that Jay-Z's team, of course, is going to work to their no end to ensure that they do the best that they can for their client. He's going to do the best that he can for his namesake, his children, his livelihood, and so forth and so on. So that's not the problem. The problem is us. Okay, let's talk. Let's get into it. We cannot say, "Oh, Jay-Z's guilty. Oh, Jay-Z's innocent." We don't know. And so Judge Torres came to us on the 26th of December and was like, all that hoopla that Alex Spiro was doing against Budsby is in fact improper. It's not cool. And consequently, let's talk about what you're doing. And turns out Jay-Z's attorney was not following the laws of the court, the rules of the court. They were filing things prematurely without getting the proper approval from the judge. They were trying to change the Rule 11 requirement or allotment of 21 days to respond and to cure any deficiencies in the filing. And the judge was like, "No, that's not legal. We don't do that kind of thing over here." So we talked about that in the last video. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but the reading and the pleading is up and all of the sound is good. The visual cutoff, I don't know what was up with that. My computer's doing something weird. But the details of that particular order, which is really quick, is in the last video. Today is a new day. Before I could even think about trying to fix that, I had to come back and we had to talk about what's going on today. So today we are going to look at something that is like PR, and I want to say PR PowerPoint or PR deck, we may say, or proposal deck. And this is something that the PR team gave to the news outlet, and they took it and ran with it however they saw fit. Doesn't seem like they did any critical thinking, very little, if any, investigation. It was just they were spoon fed information and they ran with it. It was a narrative that was going out into the world. So we're going to look at some of the inconsistencies that were fed to them and they accepted as truth without even paying attention to what the court filings had to say. All right, let's get in here. I think I have my sound on. I think I'm doing things right. I'm trying to have Christmas, man. All right, let's see. We should be playing now. Okay, so just to go back, this is a review of what was given to Legacy Media from Jay-Z's most likely PR team. I hope not their legal team, because if it's their legal team, we have even bigger problems. But the PR team is what I'm assuming it would have been. And so let's get in here. So basically, they're saying this event did not happen. And my volume is up, so she should be talking because there's audio.
The timeline and details that Jane Doe has provided in her formal complaint do not create a scenario in which any of the accusations are plausible or possible. Time doesn't lie. These accusations bring to question all details of the complaint, the reasonable timing of each moment, and how this all...
That is such a cheeky statement. Time does not lie. Remember that.
Could have happened, which is irrefutably not possible. In her complaint, Jane Doe states that these points: she snuck out of her window and had a friend drive her to the VMA location, Radio City Music Hall. To get to the after party, the drive from the VMA...
So that very first point, she snuck out of her window and had a friend drive her to the VMA location, Radio City Music Hall, is not from her amended complaint. It says in her complaint, Jane Doe says. But in her amended complaint, Jane Doe said on paragraph 38, she had a friend drive her to the VMAs. And the difference between that is, did she sneak out of her window or not? And one of the things that when I, in the last video that we did on this, I talked about how there are times and instances as we are young once, parents are seen as being overprotective or not understanding, and they won't let you go somewhere. And so what happens is the kids will say, "I'm going over a friend's house." And then they don't necessarily go over to the friend's house, or they'll go over to the friend's house because that's where you drop them off, but then the friend will take them somewhere else that you don't know about. And I was on my soapbox saying, don't do that, because that was the indication that the amended complaint gave. Now we have lines on here. It's scary. I hope you don't see lines. I don't know what that is. But anyway, based upon what Jay-Z's team released to an internal group, they say she snuck out of a window in her complaint. Her amended complaint on paragraph 38 does not say anything about a window. It just says her friend drove her. So if we can get this back on track here.
Maze to the residence was 20 minutes.
Oh, and this timeline. To get to the after party, the drive from the VMAs to the residence was 20 minutes. Time is a construct. And depending on where you live, a 3-mile radius can take you 5 minutes or 15 minutes or 25 minutes. It just depends on where you live and what the traffic is doing at that time. So I don't know where that might have been maybe statements of her first complaint, but by this time she had an amended complaint. And her amended complaint is what in fact brought Jay-Z into the lawsuit. So the facts that they're putting here is not from the amended complaint, because in the amended complaint on paragraph 43, she only says she waited a long time. She doesn't say that the after party was 20 minutes away. She just said she waited for what seemed to be a long time. She doesn't know anything about 20 minutes. So there's that.
That the driver had to drive Diddy to the after party first from the VMAs, then come back to get her.
Yes, she says that.
To bring her to the after party. That Diddy and Mr. Carter were at the residence by the time she arrived. That after the alleged sexual assault, she navigated through the party to the exit and ran to the nearest gas station to call her father to pick her up. And that her father picked her up before dawn.
Now that's another thing. It says that her father picked her up before dawn. In the amended complaint, she just says she was at the gas station, was allowed to use the phone, called her father, and he arrived shortly thereafter. There's no timeline as to when he picked her up in the amended complaint. So,
to establish all these alleged timings and make sense of a plausible timeline, we started with the facts to understand.
Here's another thing. The VMAs obviously was September 7, 2000, but if she's off a couple years, and I think someone reported that she's around 3 years in difference, like if she was saying 2003, she'd be closer to information to being exact than if she was to say 2000. And that is not unheard of either, right? We talked about how you can have a suppression of memory, suppression of pain and feelings to where it harms or it alters your specificity on the details surrounding the event. Certain things such as time can be very hard for individuals. And I believe she's autistic. I believe that's one of her disabilities or a disability that she may have. And aside from like depression and some other anxiety that was named. But if she is in fact either ADHD or has some disability that has a problem with time, this would only bolster up her position in that's the wrong year. But nonetheless, this is what Jay-Z's team is taking up as pertinent facts that they need to counter narrative. They need to put out a counter narrative for. And they are citing the amended complaint, paragraph 38. Okay. She was 13 years old. She had a friend drive and drop her off. That is the information in the amended complaint. But just before then, they said, oh, she snuck out a window and had a friend drive her to this location. But yet they here cite the paragraph 38 where it says it was a friend. Now, here's another thing that is very pertinent. On or around September 7th, 2000. On or around is a very short paraphrase that just really means, I don't know the exact day. That is an automatic indicator. We don't know the exact day. So we don't know if it was that exact year. But for whatever reason, the media didn't take these clues, didn't read the amended complaint for themselves, didn't verify the information, or if they did, they just didn't care. For the most part, this was, don't worry, guys, we can still keep moving business as usual. This is what this is for.
Understand the start and end to the alleged incident, which did not happen. Jane Doe on the day and year lived in.
That's another thing, which did not happen. So the first thing we had, time does not lie. So we had the very first statement, time does not lie. Well, they lied when they said she snuck out, her complaint says she snuck out of a window. When they immediately thereafter, next PowerPoint say, on or about September 7th, her friend drove her. No window in that statement for paragraph 38 of the amended complaint. So even in this presentation, the holes are right before you. Enough to say, did you mean to say that? Are you quoting something else? Where did you get that information from precisely? But yet, no one does that.
Chester, New York. Over a 5-hour drive without traffic to Radio City Music Hall. The VMA's broadcast and show started at 8 p.m., which Jane Doe claims she watched outside on a Jumbotron. She would have had to leave her home at 2 p.m. to get to Radio City Music Hall on time to watch celebrities arrive, she claims, and be there for the start of the show. Jane Doe claims that her father picked her up before dawn on September 8th. Dawn on that day was at 6:29 a.m. For her father to drive from Rochester.
Once again, these particular facts are not in evidence based on the amended complaint, because we don't have discovery yet. So this right now is conjecture. This is opinion. This is spin. All spin.
To pick her up, the latest the phone call from the gas station would have had to have been at 1:30 a.m. That establishes the start and end to our alleged timeline. Now let's work through the facts. The VMAs in 2000 ended at 11:11 p.m. Jane Doe said that the driver had to drive Diddy to the after party, come back to get her, then drive her to the party. She also stated that the drive was 20 minutes. That in total would have been 20 minutes times 3, which is 1 hour total of drive time. The earliest the driver could have picked her up is at 11:51 p.m., making the earliest the driver could have dropped her off at the alleged residence is 12:11 a.m. Irrespective of the details of the residence, this now establishes that the earliest she could have been at the residence is 12:11 a.m. Now, for her to call her father from a gas station at 1:30 a.m., we have to establish how close is the gas station from the residence. Out of the possible locations for the white residence, the nearest gas station is 42-minute walking distance. That means that the latest that Jane Doe could have left the residence after the alleged incident is 12:48 a.m. That creates 37 minutes.
I'm sorry. Did we get the address of the residence? What is the residence in question? Where was the party that day? Where was the party that day? I didn't get that information. I think that is where a lot of this breaks down too, because there's a presumption that this was at Diddy's house. I think that comes up a little later, but there's a presumption where this is at Diddy's house and not at some other location. It was called an after party, an after party. And to pretend like Diddy or any other celebrity did not rent out locations for these events is preposterous. And in fact, there is evidence that he did in fact rent out mansions and different homes for his events, not necessarily at his house, maybe at his house and maybe not, but there was also times that he rented locations as well.
Minutes for this 13-year-old girl to be at the party, talk to celebrities, have a portion of a drink, and for the alleged sexual assault to happen.
This is like, so let's just say this timeline is true. Let's just act like we believe you and you're right. And you did all the research that we ever should need to be done. You have proven plausibility. From 3 p.m. her sneaking out of her house to driving 5 hours to the VMAs. That's a friend. That's a friend indeed. Okay. Let me tell you, I mean, is there no train? Like whatever. So driving 5 hours to the VMAs, let's just say this is true. Because my theory was that she went over to the friend's house earlier in the day, hung out there, got dressed there, and then the friend drove her. And wherever that friend is or whatever. We don't know yet because we don't have discovery. But nonetheless, we take all this timeline as given to us as true. So 7 p.m. Latest Jane Doe arrival. Why would it be the latest? First of all, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. is 8 p.m. So I can't, this is why I cannot keep this timeline, because in and of itself, it's wrong. Regardless if it's Jay-Z, if it's the man on the moon, it's, Barack Obama. It could be any favorite celeb or non-known person. The timeline that you have presented as a defense is in air of itself. Sneaking out at 3 o'clock p.m., there has to be a 5-hour drive to get to the next location. Somehow the latest she can arrive is 7 o'clock. But math is simple enough to say that no, she got there at 8. So anyway, the VMAs begin at 8 o'clock. If the VMAs started on time, God, I hope someone must have won the lottery big that year, because I don't know award ceremonies that really start exactly on time, but okay. 8 p.m., they began. And 11 minutes after 11 p.m., it ended. Interesting. So it was 3 hours and 11 minutes. And okay, fine. 20 minutes passed for Combs to be escorted to residence of whatever, to a house. And then earliest Combs arrival at white residence. So he arrives somewhere near 11:31 p.m. 20 minutes for the driver to go back to Radio City Music Hall to pick her up and to take her down to the white residence, which would make her arrival at what they say, 12:11. Yeah, so 11 minutes after 12 a.m. Okay. And from that time to 12:48 a.m. is the time that they assume she would have needed to have all these major things occur to her, and for her to then leave the residence to spend 42 minutes running to the gas station. But they have not even provided the address. So what is the address we're running off of? You're making an assumption of an address that you don't even give to the people, right? To even decide if you're right. But okay, so it's going to be 42 minutes. She could have been a track star that year, or maybe she wasn't. It took her 42 minutes to run there. And she called her dad at 1 a.m. and 30 minutes. And her dad comes to get her 5 hours later, prior to the dawn of 6:29 a.m. So it's plausible. So thank you, Jay-Z. You just proved that it could have happened. 37 minutes of her being in the location, having a small sip. Because let's time this one. That was a 5-second gulp. So, okay, that doesn't take long. And then feeling the effects of it, depending on your body weight, depending on your how often you may or may not consume alcohol or things of the like, will determine your reaction to things. So whatever that took 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay, to be awakened and to be assaulted or to attempt to assault someone. How long are you saying that takes? Because it says she ran away. And you can have all of that happen in 15 minutes. And you're saying that there's 37 minutes of time that all of this could have happened. So you have just given us all the plausibility that she needed, that it could happen. You've given it to us right here. So let's go back. They have other arguments. So let's hear the rest of it.
For her to run out of the house, be in an area she knows nothing about, knows no direction as to how to get anywhere in the middle of the night, and find her way to the nearest gas station 42 minutes away to call her father to pick her.
Here's another thing that journalists, whoever were sitting in that room, they should be called to task. Like, this person is telling you how to feel about a victim, giving you plausible deniability about a victim versus just laying out facts, and you don't even research it.
This is all assuming that everyone left exactly on time at 11:11 p.m. once the VMAs ended.
No, this all assumes that everyone stayed to the end of the VMAs to leave. This is all assuming that it was exactly September 7, 2000, even though the amended complaint says on or around.
That there was no traffic after the VMAs in the 3 drives the driver made to transport Diddy and Jane Doe to the party. This is also assuming that Diddy and Miss Lopez did not attend any other after parties in the 1 hour period.
There's that, Lopez. In the amended complaint, I don't see Lopez being named. There is an assumption that Lopez is the other individual. I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I don't see her being named in the amended complaint. So if you see it, point that out to me. Nevertheless, if she's not named in the amended complaint, there's really no need to bring her up here because it's, once again, facts not in evidence.
Period before Jane Doe arrived to the party, and separately, Mr. Carter either. And that without any directions in the middle of the night in an area she is unaware of, Jane Doe made it on foot to a gas station in...
I'm so pissed by that one part. In an unfamiliar area, she made it to a gas station. So you mean to tell me when you're in the sticks, when you're traveling across this nation, for those of you who have driven across the nation, you can't find a gas station in an unfamiliar area? Now, I'm saying don't use your phone, don't use your maps, because obviously our phone now can tell us where the nearest gas station is. But during that time, just on the sense of you have a brain in your head, the thing that is lit up and says Shell or Chevron, or the fact that if you're in a residence, you're going to try and get out of the residence area and to find the main street to get to a liquor store, 7-Eleven, a gas station, whatever. These are not hard things to do. And she may have been 13, but she clearly was not, or somewhere near the age of 13, she clearly was not an idiot enough to stay in the house. She got out of the house and she ran somewhere until she ran into a gas station. Maybe she was looking for a liquor store and she found a gas station. It's not that difficult. Gas stations are meant to be found. They want to be found. They're in very lit areas because people might run out of gas.
42 minutes.
All right, 42
This
minutes.
is all not possible.
Yes, it's possible.
And irrefutably
it's very possible. You just proved how it was possible. You just proved that it was possible.
False. This alleged incident and timeline are not plausible, and this did not happen. This timeline is absolutely not plausible, as both Diddy and Miss Lopez are photographed at other VMA after parties.
Okay, so let me move up here. Maybe you can see it better. Okay, so the last PowerPoint was this timeline. It gave you math. It was off for one event, like talking about from 3 to 8 versus, 3 to 7 versus 3 to 8, but whatever. It gave you most explicit detail. This is a picture that says Mr. Carter at nightclub for VMA's after party. What year? Which one is he? Is that him in the red? I guess. He was about, what? And then Lopez at the VMAs. That's what she wore at the VMAs. Okay, so this was September 2000, I would hope. This is like to say, I hope you're saying this is all September 7, 2000, but nothing here points to an editorial. Like the picture of Mr. Carter. Who took the picture? Where was this published? Did you get this out of the Source magazine? Where did you come up with the picture? Was this in the newspaper? Like, how did you find this picture? Lopez's picture, there's no citation for that either. That's a one of her outfits that, yes, I'm pretty sure that's what she wore in 2000, because it was one of the infamous like Jenny from the Block looking outfits during that time. But maybe it's 2001. I don't know. I went there. I don't know. And you haven't cited anything to that fact. Then you say Diddy and Lopez at Twirl VMA's after party. Well, they're in different outfits. Well, I don't know. I don't know what you didn't even cite Diddy. So I don't know where Diddy was relative at the VMA. Was Diddy not at the VMAs then? Are you saying he wasn't at the VMAs? He was trolling the streets for the 13-year-old girl. Is that what you're telling me? Because what you have here now is Diddy and Lopez at the Twirl VMAs after party, and Lopez is got on a different dress. Okay, cool beans. She changed, I guess, but you haven't cited anything. Now you're going to tell me stuff, but you haven't shown me any particular citations that tell us where these pictures came from precisely.
Commercial establishments at the time in question, and separately Mr. Carter as well, none of which are the described white residents in Jane Doe's complaint. In these pictures, you can see Diddy and Miss Lopez change clothes from the VMAs, went to multiple commercial nightclubs, including Lotus and Twirl, and none were the White House described in Jane Doe's complaint. This incident did not happen.
We don't see that in these pictures. We don't see in these pictures that Diddy and Lopez went to multiple locations. We see that Lopez is at the VMAs, and then Diddy and Lopez is at an after party. We see that Carter is at a different after party, supposedly. Because you said nightclub. I guess Twirl's is not a nightclub. I don't know. Because you don't cite exactly what nightclub he was at. So I don't know.
Now to speak on the white residence that is described in Jane Doe's complaint.
Okay, so I got into this a little bit already as far as houses and location. I don't know anything truthfully in New York that's a 20-minute drive, because I've never driven in New York. I've had taken this cab, so maybe down the street I'll go a couple blocks down in the cab, but I'm not driving 20 minutes. Typically I take the train, so I don't know. I'm sure all celebrities drive and have drivers and all that, but I personally am not a celebrity, so I don't know. But saying houses matching Doe's allegations do not exist within a 20-minute drive. Well, is that all relative? How can you surmise 20-minute drive? Is that 20-mile radius? How are you equating that? Because depending upon how a person drives will determine how quickly you get somewhere. And then New Yorkers drive crazy, child. Sorry, I love New York, but y'all be running folks over, child. Just keeping it real. But how are you making that determination that such houses do not exist within 20? Do they exist in 25 minutes? Do they exist in 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
U-shaped driveway, and she says it was 20 minutes from Radio City. There are no houses matching Jane Doe's allegations within the 20-minute drive from Radio City Music Hall. To dive deeper into the details, there are two possible residences in Diddy's life during that period of time, but none match Jane.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Who said it had to be Diddy's residence? So this is creativity. This is all spin. And this is not in the public file. I mean, this is not in the court filings. This is, for the in-house people that make a difference to keep Jay-Z on boards and to keep things floating just fine, as well as probably like I said, the legacy media, so they have talking points to refute details and inaccuracies. This is not in court. This information is not in court because Jay-Z has not filed an answer alleging any of this. And truthfully, it's almost to say that's not where it was, but where the house was, but it wasn't anywhere over there that she's talking about. She's wrong. It wasn't 20 minutes away. It was 30 minutes away, but it wasn't 20 minutes away. Like, you give this impression like you're working extra hard to say that's not where it was. How do you know? Where was it? Where was the white party that year, that day? That's the information that should be asserted. Nothing in here says that. Nowhere in here does it say Diddy threw a white party on September 7th, 2000 at such location, for which he arrived there at 3:00 in the morning because he was hopping everywhere else. Or Diddy did not throw a white party on September 7th, 2000 because he was party hopping all over. There's no evidence or assertion of a fact to it. It's all, watering down and putting disbursements on the plaintiff. It's like character assassination. And now you want to pull up, what's his name? Diddy's houses. So all Diddy's houses, I guess, are in his name or whatever. So now you're putting his addresses on blast. I hope they were public knowledge already. You're saying two of them were, one was sold before, and then one was purchased after the alleged day. Okay. So we want to talk to the party planner. What was rented and reserved either in Sean's homes or any one of his business entities around the date of September 7th, 2000, that is a house? That's what we want to know. Because you're talking about what he owns. We don't care. Oh, what's wrong? Oh. Uh, 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 uh.
In all, time doesn't lie. The location of Jane Doe's alleged incident does not exist. The alleged timeline of the incident is not possible. Diddy and Miss Lopez were.
Here is another disingenuous statement. The location of Jane Doe's alleged incident does not exist. If you, this is coming from Jay-Z. This is not Sean Combs. This is not Jay-Z's party. This is Sean Combs's party. So why would your defense be this location does not exist? Why wouldn't your defense be, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what he did. I don't know where his parties were. I don't know what house that could have been because I was not there. I'm not the one. Why are you putting up defenses that are really helping Holmes so much so that, and you turn around and say, y'all, and what did he say? They're not friends. He had his attorney go out there and say, Diddy and Combs are, what Diddy and Jay-Z are not friends. I guess, I hope they're at least acquaintances, but I think that what they were calling themselves are business associates or industry associates. But you go into task, you got your PR team going heavy to say that this did not even exist. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that for my not friend, for my business. I'd be like, I don't know nothing about what they got and what they did and didn't do. I can only tell you, as for me in my house, we did not. That would be your true defense. You would say, listen, we don't know where this house is because we weren't there. My client wasn't there. Jay-Z wasn't there. He doesn't know what the house is. He doesn't know if there was a party that year. He wasn't there. He was at a nightclub. He was out in the public in the street. He was not at some residence having a party. He was not with Sean Combs. That would be the statements I would be making. If I were making statements, I probably would not be making statements because that's poor taste. Because truthfully, you want things to be done in court. But he's trying to salvage his public opinion. He's doing a PR, press release kind of thing. So for you to go through all this length to say, it's not plausible in time, even though there's really 37 minutes this could have happened. No, it's really not really possible that it could have happened. You just proved in a full timeline that in time it is possible. So you said time does not lie. So it doesn't lie. It's possible. Then you turn around and you say, there's 20 minutes away. There's no such house 20 minutes away. And this residence does not even exist. This is completely made up, fabricated. It doesn't exist. So it doesn't exist anywhere in the city of New York, Manhattan, any one of the boroughs. Like this house in Jersey, nowhere. It does not exist. That is stupid. It is absolutely stupid to make such a strong claim, especially since this is not a claim from Sean Combs. This is not a claim from Combs saying this house never existed. I never had anything to do with such house. I never rented or did anything with a house. This is Jay-Z saying the house didn't exist. And it makes you think, well, how do you know the house didn't exist unless you know what house does? Unless you say to yourself, well, that wasn't 2020. That mostly was like 2023. And there was a house that was over there that he rented. Okay, so since she's saying it's 2020, no, that didn't exist. Like that's the kind of thought process you're putting forth when you put this PowerPoint deck.
Other after parties at commercial establishments during the time in question. And separately, Mr. Carter was also at other after parties at commercial establishments at the time in question. Jane Doe's father even confirmed that he does not remember driving 5 hours both ways to.
So NBC News exclusive. Child, when I say I looked. Father of accuser, NBC News exclusive. This is like some white man, but just because he does to me, he could have maybe even been Indian. I don't know what nationality he is. But anyway, the individual's face is blocked out. Fine. He's anonymous. Great. An NBC News exclusive for which I cannot find a full clip of like the full drop. If you have it, please give it to me. I want to see. Just point me in that direction because I have done some Google searching, some, calling up people, and everyone's like, well, there's clips over here. But I'm like, no, but where's the full whole length? Here's the beginning of the interview, end of the interview. Like I want the whole thing. And one of the main things I want the whole thing is because you're giving me a sentence, a quoted sentence, or maybe more than one sentence, and you have the ellipses. So you're letting me know that there's something removed from what you're even quoting me. I don't have contextual quotation as to what was asked. And you don't say, interviewer asked, did you pick her up from a gas station one late night in an emergency state? Like, there's no question there. So what is he even answering? I feel like I would remember that. And I don't. He would remember what? He would remember if it was dawn. He would remember if it was still night. he would remember if it was when she was 13, or he doesn't because he thinks she might have been 15. Um, and he's, I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. What would? This would not pass any um, journalist essay. So every journalist who looked at this quote and was like, oh, yeah, father says he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember what? You would fail if you wrote an essay that only quoted this. This is not weighted. It's weighted, but it's not definitive in any nature. It explains nothing except he has a lot going on. And that's current day. He says, I have a lot going on. So he has a lot going on right now. Not back then I had a lot going on. During that time I had a lot going on. No, I have a lot going on. So right now he has a lot going on. So is he saying his mental capacity is not up to par? Like we haven't gained anything from this but further confusion. Let's see.
Up his 13-year-old daughter on the night in question. In addition, Jane Doe claims that she spoke to Benji Madden about his tattoo at the party at the White residence, but Benji Madden confirmed that he wasn't in attendance as he was on tour in a different.
Okay, so somebody Madden. Let's see if we can figure out. I don't know Benji. I don't know Benji Madden is.
The timeline and details that Jane Doe has.
How to pause it? So basically, they're like, no, it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. So sorry for you. No, it didn't happen. And I'm like, who told you that? Who told you it didn't happen? Who told you it didn't happen? And why are you working so hard to say it didn't happen versus saying, if it happened, I have no knowledge because I wasn't there. You are going so far for your not so friend only work associate industry associate. You're going very hard to prove that it did not happen, which really just defends him, I guess, to me anyway. Whereas for you, all you have to say is, I don't know what happened because I wasn't there. My client, Jay-Z, does not know nothing about Diddy's party, September 7th, 2020. I wasn't there. I wasn't even looking for J-Lo and Diddy pictures. I don't know what they did because now you're accounting for their whereabouts. How can you account for somebody else's whereabouts? Okay, so Benji Madden was at the VMAs in 2003. Wait, I think. Let me make sure. Of Good Charlotte performed. Okay, so he performed 2003 at the VMAs. What happened to Benji and Joel Madden? Benji and Joel Madden. I'm sorry. I guess this is a rock group I'm not familiar with. What is this? Wait a second. So let me share my screen. Okay. So this says MTV Venus 2000, Radio City Music Hall. And it said that Benji was here, just in case some music starts playing, because I don't want to be. So this is the VMA Awards. Okay. And taking it back to the day. We were so cool back then. You know what's wrong with you. Okay. Okay. So Puffy did not change. Remember they said Puffy changed along with J-Lo? That was another part of their life, their spin in the deck. No, so here's her infamous outfit. She definitely changed into some dress later on, but Puffy had on a white t-shirt for which he had later on too. So okay, no much change there. LL Cool J was there. Okay, so good to see you. And what's her name? I forget her name, but love her too. Okay, what is this? A commercial? Okay. Oh no, this is the Pops. I don't. Britney Spears. Oops. Okay, she probably won because that was a very famous one. I'm just gonna try and see if I can find. Oh, okay. So NSYNC won against Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. Okay, no worries. As far as I'm concerned, that's the same thing. That's no, I'm blocking what's important here. So this is the 2000 VMAs. I actually just really wanted to just see where Benji was. I didn't know we are gonna get a whole thing on it. Let's see. Okay, so who's this guy? Oh, Jim Carrey. Hey, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is there. Okay. Oh, Eminem performed outside. She might have been in the crowd over there. Look at all those people. You don't even know. Okay. Uh-huh. Then he came inside and people were inside. And so he did things and that was great. Okay, so who's this? This is, oh, Wayne's brothers. Okay, great. Good to see them. Funny crew. What's next? Okay, Pink. Pink is in the building. All right. Now, who are these people? Oh, is that? That's a different group. I don't know. Okay, I don't see anything that says Benji. Let's see, what is this? Like, who is this?
Pepper. Side-eye tape. Side-eye tape. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay, so is Benji a part of the Red Hot Chili Peppers? I don't know. As I said, I don't know who the people are. Okay, so anyway, there's nothing like he gave an award. Okay, so who is this? Oh, that's Timberlake. That's NSYNC. Okay. NSYNC some more, or one of those groups. Okay, so let's pass this. I'm not sure why. This tells, go back out of this. This said videos of Benji Madden's at VMA 2000, and that was what they gave us. But I didn't see that, so maybe he was there. Hold on. Oh wait, you're still here, huh? I'm still talking. I'm so sorry. Okay, I guess I'm asking the wrong questions because this is not even Google. This is Bing. And Bing has a problem with answering questions. I should go to Google and find out. Wait. Okay, so Fox News has a posting. Jay-Z shreds accuser's timeline. Was that the video we just looked at? Because it gave us 37 good minutes. 37 good minutes. All things went down. All things could happen. Anything happened in 37 minutes. Cut it out. Cut it out. What was I looking for anyway? I was looking for the guy. What's his name? Benji. Let's see. So Benji was on stage in 2000, not at the VMA stage. At the time with his band, the name of his band is Good Charlotte. Okay, so finally figured that out. And they were in Chicago. Okay, so Benji was not at the VMAs and the N 2000 VMAs. Now, Benji Madden of Good Charlotte performed at the 2003 VMAs. So, time does not lie, right? This is what the defendant kept saying, time does not lie. But as we know, those who fight different ailments with time would say time is a construct. Like it's hard. It can be 20 minutes can feel like a million hours. 20 minutes can feel like 5 minutes. Just depends. But if it was not 2000 when this happened, and in fact it was 2003, Benji was there. So let me show you the Getty image that says this is so. Okay, so 2003, according to the Getty, if you want to buy it for $375, you know what? Good Charlotte must be a great band. I'm so grateful that y'all are amazing, but I couldn't do it. Anyway, if you want to buy that, you can buy it for $375 from the GettyImages.com. Getty Images say in 2003 at the MTV VMA show that Benji Madden of Good Charlotte performed. And here he is. Now, I don't know what tattoo she was amazed with because he definitely has a lot of them, but she had a lot to choose from. So there's that. And okay, so here we are. What did we learn? We learned that instead of, or even in the legal fight that Jay-Z's lawyer put up, he did more PR than he did legal. And what I'll say to that end, because we went through it in the other video, but what I'll say to that is when it comes down to what he actually did in the legal filings, he accused Tony Buzbee of not following the rules of the law, rules of court, when he, in fact, his name, Alex Spiro, did not follow the rules of the court. Then he challenged the plaintiff's ability to stay anonymous for no real reason, just that she should not be. Like, they don't want her to be. And you can go over the details, because obviously it wasn't that simple, but basically that was the gist of it. And then the other legal filing that he had was, hey, yo, Your Honor, we want to talk, and we want to talk now. We need a hearing now. We need this to be stricken and dismissed now. And instead of them having 21 days to fix it like normal, just give them 24 hours, because they don't need 21 days. They only need 24 hours. Then Alex Spiro said, Tony Busby is an ambulance chaser, and he is, trying to fabricate anything against Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is a well-known person, and he's just trying to get money off of him, and he has not done the true vetting of this complainant, and consequently, he should be sanctioned for his actions, and he is, just a horrible attorney. Well, what did we find out? Well, Judge Torres said, nope, that's not true. You're, spewing dispersions against Busby is in ill form, but let's talk law. The law does not support your claims. No, we will not all of a sudden change the law from 21 days to 24-hour response. We're going to keep it as is. Consequently, as Busby is in fact licensed in the state of New York, because you were talking about he wasn't licensed and he didn't come pro hoc vice, he didn't have to, because he's licensed in the state of New York. There are attorneys who are licensed in multiple states. Guess what? Busby is one of them. Why didn't you check that first? Like, that is simple. Go to the New York bar. Matter of fact, look at the complaint and look at his bar number and see what it says. You're not, I'm sorry. Alex Spiro's firm makes way too much money not to be able to check that. Very simple. Anyway, then the judge goes, no, that didn't happen. And as a matter of fact, when you say that the young woman went on NBC, she did, but she went anonymously. She did not unveil herself. So there's no need to unveil her right now. We'll keep this under advice and we'll think about it when time comes, but we haven't even got to discovery yet. So there's no need for her unveiling just yet. And then we turned around and said, and you, dear sir, you, Mr. Spiro, you've been very visible. You have had press conferences. You have made statements. You have spoken against this victim. You've acknowledged that the claims are heinous and extreme and vital, but then you've chastised and said, so you should have went to criminal court, as if the timeline is available to her to go to criminal court. And criminal charges are not in the control of the victim. They're in control of the DA. It's the DA's choice to go and bring up criminal charges. And they may say, it's too hard to fight this. It's been too long. I have other cases that are up against deadlines, whatever, don't know. Doesn't matter, because you are in court in civil, not criminal. Don't fight to go somewhere else. You're here where you are, so fight where you are. Like, this is the playground you're playing in, so work with this. And all the things you called Busby about trying to get his name out there and he's just ambulance chasing, you were doing a PR stunt of your own. And it included this particular PowerPoint that we just went over that proved it's plausible. There's 37 minutes of plausible time that it could have occurred. You argue in there that 20 minutes radius does not have any home of any kind that resembles the young lady's account. But you've actually opened yourself to the fact that it could have been 25 minutes away, or the way someone drove made it 20 minutes away and it was closer, or whatever. I don't know. But now you've given the defense, not the defense, you've given the plaintiff a lot of great information to know where you're headed with your argument, so that they can start cleaning up whatever they need to clean up to help answer your questions that are not into evidence and are not that big of a difference. Because if they can find a house 25 minutes away or even 30 minutes away that's indicative of what the young lady is describing, or better yet, that Sean Combs in fact rented, then all of this location does not exist statement that you're making is faltered, which is, by the way, they didn't make it in a court of law, because it's all conjecture, it's all made up, it's just for kicks and giggles, right? There was somewhere where you said, you said she talked to Benji Madden about his tattoos. In the amended complaint, I didn't see it, his name. I just see that on paragraph 49 that she talked to numerous celebrities. So not sure about the account of Benji Madden, if that is in fact an account from the NBC interview, or if that's an account from the legal documents, because I didn't see the name in the complaint. You can let me know where it is. But here's something that I want to highlight. In the complaint, it says she left the scene in the dark. Plaintiff's father picked her up shortly after. She left the scene. It was dark outside when she left, and he picked her up shortly after. So that's what you're translating into before dawn. And dawn was at 6:39. And so she called him at 1 something. And the 42 minutes it would take to walk down to the nearest gas station, for which house you did not give us an address to make sure that it's 42 minutes of walking distance. You have proven that there was time to do it all. There was 37 minutes for her to be assaulted, drugged and assaulted, and to escape. And then there was 42 minutes for her to get to a gas station and make a phone call. And as you said, time does not lie. Anyway, this is a Christmas that keeps giving. And I don't know if it's giving me gifts I actually want. Did you like these gifts? I don't know. I mean, Judge Torres was like reading them, so that was a good little read. That was nice. But this is a little disheartening. Not, I guess it's not disheartening, because the truth of the matter is Jay-Z has to defend himself. He's in that position right now. That's what he's chosen to do, to defend himself. So him taking upon the position of spinning his narrative and putting his narrative before the people that he feels it's important to be put in front of is fine. Problem is, those people are journalists, and they didn't have the journal integrity to, in fact, investigate the information that was given to them, or to even read it, because even in itself, there were holes in the PowerPoint deck. Let me know what you think. How do you feel? Are you swayed? Do you think by some measure that Jay-Z is coming out on top when it comes to this? Tell me, put it in the comments. All right, Merry Christmas, all those great things. Happy holidays, Happy New Year. Hopefully we can have a good rest of our holiday season, and we can just, sip, cheer, and not have to hear anything else from Jay-Z. Wait, Beyonce's Carter, what's it called? Carter Bowl? I think it was Cowboy Bowl or Carter Bowl. That was great. Watch that Netflix. Get your Carter on with that. All right, Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent advocate. See you later on the next video.